The A Show. Good evening. I don't know if that cut off, but hello. What's up? Hola. Konnichiwa. Salud. I'm April Hunter, your host, and across from me, or next to me, is Ben Hameen, my lovely producer and co-host. And tonight we're going to have an awesome guest on, Eli Gonzalez. We'll tell you about him very shortly. But for tonight, how are you doing, Ben?
Yeah, I'm good, Ape. I'm happy, obviously, to be with you, and I was pumped to hear about this guest last week and some of the stories you've been watching. But I was at Disney for wife number one's birthday, so I had a good escape from New York to get down to some of that fun in the sun where it was 81 and now it's 31 and snowing. when I got
man.
back. Yeah, but and I'm also a little, sad because I know it's going to be great with you and Big Ray, and he's going to take over some producing duties here at the A Show. But it'll be our last night together for a little while. But I'll be happy to dip in. I've had a great time doing some fun shows with you for sure, Ape. I always love reading everything that you write is brilliant and poignant, and then just getting to sit down and do something a little different every week. It's a highlight. It has been since we've been doing this together.
I know. I appreciate you doing all this. So thank you. And hello, everybody joining us. Hi, Fred. Hi, AB Twitch. Hi, Brian. Hello, Lori. How are you? So, yeah, thank you for joining us tonight. We're just waiting for everybody to kind of populate. We're giving it a minute. I'm having a questionable hair day. So it's like, See, here's the thing, right? My friends and I are going somewhere. We're going north, and I know that my hair is going to be stuffed into a beanie hat the next couple of days because where we're going is supposed to be cold. So I didn't see the point in really doing anything with it because I'm just going to be trying to stay warm. So, I was like, I'm just going to.
You're easy on the eyes, but we're here for what's under that hair, that big, beautiful brain of yours. So, well, that's what the A is all about. The wrapping paper is nice. The gift inside it means a lot more.
Thank you. So I'm just seeing if I need to retweet or send anything. There we are. Yay. Okay. Thank you for doing that. I put something out earlier, but So, hey, Pizza the Hut. What's up, Brian? What's up, Winona? Hello. It's funny. It came back on TV was what's the one that takes place in Montana, the Rancher show.
Yellowstone.
I
just watched.
Yeah. Yep, that one came back. I just finished one called C on Apple TV. I can't recommend that show enough to you guys. I mean, it stars Aquaman. Jason Momoa.
Oh, Jason Momoa.
He's very, very good.
Is it C like S-E or the letter C?
The reason it's C is because everybody's born blind. Blind is considered normal, and it's a lot of action, a lot of a very, very good story, a lot of fighting, and it's interesting to watch blind warriors fight and how they because they're blind, their hearing and their intuition has been extremely well developed, and the things that they do to be able to fight with each other is fascinating. It really makes you think, though. It is a really good show. 3 seasons, very good. Like, if you watch it, tell me what you think about it, because
I'll definitely check it out for sure, and then maybe check back in after I binge with you. I just Yellowstone, phenomenal. We were talking about on Russo Day, and also there's a new one that just dropped with a lot of great production people and writers from Sopranos, The Wire, and other phenomenal shows called King of Tulsa, which is Sylvester Stallone's new mafia drama. And I watched episode 1 of that, and I really liked it. So I thought they kicked off pretty well, and it's going to be a really good next couple of weeks for, all the way through the holidays for TV watchers who love these heavy dramas, which is absolutely you and I, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Watch a critical degree from Full Sail University and being a media maven yourself. When we see great things and it inspires us to do better ourselves, I think.
I would agree. I love watching TV like I watch it as a fan the first time, and then I go back and study it. And I'm like, okay, because you learn this hero's journey, the inciting incident happens right away. And then it's like a wrestling match. It's like, here's the outshine, and then heat, hope spot. Okay, bringing it home, near fall, go to the finish. It's really, really similar. The television and movies are done the same way. And hello, Allie. Hello, Eva. Hi, Wolf. What's up? And Sportsmaster. Hi. So, so whipped cream vodka weekend for sure. And I'm going to fix this lighting here. So sorry for my boobs, you guys.
Yeah, my God, how
sorry
dare
for my
you
boobs, you guys.
We're not apologizing at all. It's Titty Tuesday, you guys.
It is Titty Tuesday.
Titty pumps out here.
Right. Hello, Chris, War Demon. So you guys know that this is our last Tuesday night show for a while. And unfortunately, this is my last one with Ben for a while, unless he subs in. Yeah. So we're switching as of the 23rd, the day before Thanksgiving. We're switching to Wednesdays. I believe it's 4:30 to 6. So, of course, if you can't do it, it's going to suck not to see you, but it'd be great to see you here. And we're going to have the replays. So 4:30 to 6. That's temporary. It's just for the rest of this year-ish, because I'll be with Big Ray Hernandez, and he is going to be moving. So once he moves, he's going to get a different work schedule, and then we can probably go back to Tuesday nights. But we're going to have to shift back to afternoons. And if you remember when we started, we were doing afternoons. So we started on Tuesday afternoons.
On at that dinner time where you have us in the background there. I mean, we love to hear you. We love to see you in the chat. We wish we could hear you, but there you are. Boom. We're getting some pec flexing going on early on here. Whenever you're making your Christmas cookies or whatever it is, you got going on, throw the A Show on YouTube or on twitch.tv/the A Show. You guys, great stuff all the way around. And thanks to HMG producer, video clipper Kaz, putting out those great clips, you guys as well. So everything we got going on, Hameen Media Group and the A Show crossover. So, and thanks to Big Ray. I mean, and you guys too out there being flexible with the schedule. And like we say, it's not like it's live and you never see it again. I mean, if you can catch the replays or share any of our stuff, we always appreciate that, you guys.
Yeah, and thank you also. Shout out to all the people who watch the replays, because we get quite a few people coming back to watch the replays. So thanks very much to, for you that keep on doing that. I appreciate it very much. Absolutely. So yes, we'll be swapping times there. And also I'm back on aprilhunter.net, and we'll be doing a newsletter again. We have 32 subscribers. So once we get to 50, I'm going to start sending those newsletters out again. So it's free. I'm going to do it like I did before. It's going to be all your jokes and your stories. It's not going to be just, hey, buy my shit. It's going to be everything. All the, I'll actually write. And it won't be just, conspiracy theories. It'll be just like the whole thing, stories and funny memes, the whole thing. So
awesome.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. It'll make me sit down and write every Monday. And that is one of the reasons I really liked doing the newsletter. And my former webmaster kind of took that away from me when he took control of my site away from me. So, I know, right? So one of the reasons I had the site was to write. So this will make me sit down and do it every single week again. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
That's great. I love the easy coming back and always flexing your creative muscles every way you can, whether you're working on your Etsy craft, you guys. Absolutely. And you want to talk about buy our shit? She's hand making these artisan soaps as well, you guys, with great sense as well. And now's the time to order those for your holiday shop. And why go out and buy something from Nameless Faceless on Amazon when you can have a real piece of April Hunter
from this Amazon?
From this Amazon. Absolutely. I love it.
Thanks, Chuck. Yeah, Chuck used to read my newsletter. You know what? If any of you guys actually have any of my old newsletters, will you send them to me? Because I can't find them anymore. And I would love to look back and take a look at the format again. I was searching for some of them, and I've just had so much of my stuff crash. And thank you. That's actually one of the favorite parts of what I did with my site too. So if anybody has those, I would love to grab a couple just to take a look. And I would be super appreciative.
April, I
So
know we have a great guest that you've hooked us up with tonight, but I'm not trying to cut off any plugs or anything like that. ProWrestlingTees.com 10-day Black Friday sale. But there you had sent a quick clip, and as we just go back and forth in text, and it was from another Eli. So I thought it was the Eli that we were bringing on tonight, Eli Gonzalez, author and ghostwriter. But this is from Eli Lilly, I believe, and it's saying that insulin will now be free. Is there a new?
yes.
I wanted to hear about that before we kind of got into the ghost, and it got out of my mind. I was very interested in this.
Yeah. So no, insulin's not free. What happened? This was something that has been very interesting to watch ever since Elon Musk has taken over Twitter and this whole blue check mark thing, right?
Yeah.
So you know how he started with the anybody can get verified thing, which kind of takes away the specialness of the people who work hard to get verified.
Right.
Yes. So with anybody getting verified, what's happening is that, and I'm not trying to give anybody ideas, so use this ethically. Fake accounts are paying the $8 and getting verified. So this Eli Whitney, I'm not looking at it, but this company, this fake account for the pharma company for insulin, got verified, and they told everybody, "Hey, everybody, insulin is now going to be free."
Oh, so
this is the best. Wait,
go ahead, please.
The best part. The real company, their stocks took a dive and they lost a tremendous amount of money.
Wow.
They lost millions in one day.
I think I've said this to you before. Satire is the most powerful weapon in all of media, and just paying $8 for a check mark verifies their misinformation in the eyes of other people as credible. And now when you do a satirical flash mob, you could kind of almost call this, right? And it has real world consequences based on big pharma's greed and what they take.
Millions of dollars were lost in a day over this.
Wow, so, that had to make you smile on the inside there a little bit, though, didn't it?
I'm just like, wow, like just Eva, the fuck is exactly right. I mean, it's like, we gotta say it for all the people in Dubai who can't, right? We gotta say that. If you didn't catch,
people in Dubai were like, fuck.
I know. So, and High Speedway. So I thought that was crazy. So, it's hilarious and
a model. Does this set up? Does this set up a model for other big pharma or to get smacked around, and anybody else that way too? That's kind of a greed organization, to whether it's weapons making systems and things along those lines, where people are now going to do that and use that because if it worked once here, it'll work in other places as well.
That's what someone said. They're like, Pfizer's next.
Yeah.
But I thought that was very interesting and creative of somebody to do. Remember, Aaron had that fake account. What was it called? It was like Damien Sandel's Junk. He had that fake. There was somebody set up a fake Twitter account. It was like Sandel's Junk, and somebody would just go ahead and do clips and pictures of like his junk, and they would tweet as his junk and talk about, hey, my junk's bigger than John Cena's and things like that. It was a hilarious parody account. I guess you could get that verified now. I'm waiting for someone to do one of my tits.
Right.
We might have to get two check marks, exactly.
Will it get to that level of crazy? Could you pay $16 and get 2 check marks, and that means you're even more verified?
I'm more verified than you are. I've got 4 and pronouns. It's they. But
it's they. Big uns. Verify as big and uns.
Oh my God. So April Hunter's feet. I already have that on Wiki Feet. It's so weird, but hey, thanks to all my feet peeps. Angelo, hello, hello. Yes, nice. I'm glad to see you here. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Appreciate it. So I thought it'd be
Yeah.
interesting.
Well,
Where is this?
that I was excited about free insulin, and I got ribbed too because I
Right?
didn't know all that backstory of what you put out there. So, but I love it as not as much as free insulin for people who need it, but as the slap in the face of the greed mongers of big pharma
Mm-hmm.
taking a bath. That is a great power play by the people right there, and it shows. Can one person make a difference? With
Yep.
$8 in a Twitter account, somebody made millions of dollars of difference and started a conversation that's been out there but needs to have a light shown on it for whatever reason that way, boy, that is just beautiful poetic comedy and satire right there and parody.
I know. I know. So I appreciate it. So I thought we could start with just a couple of films that were based on real life that you might not believe were based on real life, because our guest Eli has written a book. He wrote a book back in, I think, 2015 that's now being made into a film, and he's a ghostwriter, so his books are based on people's real stories, so he'll tell you all about that. But did you guys know, and if you know any that I'm not going to bring up here, please throw them into the chat because I'm sure I'll miss a couple. um, did you know that Nightmare on Elm Street was based on a true story? So, and I know that sounds really strange, but originally it was a series of articles in the LA Times, 3 small articles about men from Southeast Asia who were from immigrant families and died in the middle of their nightmares. And the paper never correlated them and never said, hey, we've had another story like this, Wes Craven explained in an interview. But that's what inspired Nightmare on Elm Street. And it primarily affected Laotian male refugees from the Hmong, hopefully I'm saying that, ethnic group.
Yeah, among
Okay. And these men tend to die in their sleep more often than others, I guess. And there's no reports of them wearing, a certain striped sweater or anything, but that was
right. Well, it's about, is there night terrors and are they dying of some massive heart failure that way,
yeah,
right?
yep,
Who's to say where their subconscious goes, and then that's left open to the dream interpretation of the nightmare, right?
yeah,
Wow, very interesting there.
yep.
That'd be one of the last ones. They're like, it's based on a real story. Nightmare on Elm
Nightmare on
Street.
Elm Street, right? So that one would have been interesting for Halloween. So you guys probably know that Goodfellas is based on a true story. And if you really, really think about that, if you really think about that crazy ass movie with Henry Hill, that's pure insanity and pure entertainment. But yep, that plot was ripped right from the headlines and adapted and taken from Henry Hill, from his stories, from him himself. Um,
Yeah.
Scorsese had already directed, obviously, a lot of crime pictures, and you know, he loved it. The opening thing, as far back as I remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. So
Yeah.
the book's originally written, it was Wise Guy, Life in a Mafia Family. So I thought that was, I mean, everybody knows that's kind of a true story, but it's still really, really interesting.
Oh,
And
I mean, I've seen the film over 200 times. I love it. And one of my clients here locally that I do social media management for, Cooperstown Connection, has artwork from Henry Hill with like a rat with a big gun that he drew and all this other stuff, like paintings wise. They've got letters from a letter from John Gotti with the Time magazine cover, just these incredible mob autographs that are just museum quality level pieces for mob fanatics. But I mean, Goodfellas at this point is just probably the most iconic American film of all time, I guess,
I
gangster
think
wise.
I have a signed poster from a Goodfellas poster signed by Henry Hill.
Nice.
That's framed on my wall. So, but yes, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, of course I have to be able to read it. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's an Amityville Horror. Those are both based on true stories. Really, Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Ew.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. Like I said, I'm not a horror guy. That's why I'd be like, I would hate to even watch it even more. All it seems like all these weird horror movies are all based on the real deal. But
Oh, Winona says it's loosely based on Ed Gein. Am I saying that right?
Ian Gein, I'm not sure.
Okay, I might have to look that up now. Now I'm curious. The Hills Have Eyes as well. Ew. So all these. Okay, so that's why I don't watch these horror movies. They're too close to reality. So I don't know
Right.
if you guys saw Three Billboard. Wait, is it called Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing? Hang on, let me read it. Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. That's based on a true story. That was actually a really good movie with Frances McDormand. And when I was in North Carolina, North Kakalaki, um, that's where they filmed that. So you can see all the background and everything that it's very recognizable there. So, and the fourth one here is, yes, another horror movie, The Exorcist. So, some people consider this the scariest movie ever made, and the fact that it's based on a true story only adds to that. Um, what would happen was it's an account of a priest, a Jesuit priest, and it was witnessed by 48 people. A little boy, um, a 14-year-old boy, would go into a seizure and get quite violent, said one of the priests, and even going as far to break the priest's nose. And he had words like hell etched into his skin.
Mm.
Skeptics doubt whether or not the teenager was actually possessed, of course. And the boy reportedly went on to lead an ordinary life, a rather ordinary life. Um, but that is what it's based on. Can you imagine that a scary movie like that is based on a seizure and maybe Tourette's at the same time?
Oh, well, that's very interesting. Is how the brain can operate differently through different synapses, and what does that open up inside of
Mm-hmm.
it? You know what I mean? That's not wrong, but different from the norm. As we talked even about dyslexia being
Yeah.
fundamentally positive for an alternative way of thinking and problem solving, right?
Yep.
It could take another left turn and be the genesis of all evil. If that part of the brain's getting too much electricity run through it, possibly.
Yeah.
Because
So
I'm a brain surgeon. You didn't know that, by the way, everybody. That's what I do. I'm an expert on neurology. Uh,
hey, a lot of
uh,
people are experts on everything these days.
well,
So hello,
I'd seen a
Alexa.
story. I'd seen a story just recently about where you're talking about here with The Exorcist, where it was from the Vatican talking about their exorcist. Like they have a whole department for this there at the
Hmm.
Vatican, apparently, and
They
that they were
do.
they were
Yeah.
talking about interdimensional beings as relates to UFO sightings and
Hmm.
the uptick, because in the last 20 years there's been 450 UFO sightings or some type of abduction that's been reported, and in the
Hmm.
last 2 years there's 750. So we went from four, and now maybe that's just because of information age, whatever, or is there an increased part of it? But they were saying
More
what
video
they've been
cameras too.
what they've been called out to do, they've seen an uptick in theirs as well. And every time there's war, there's always more UFOs. There's something with this. If we touch off bombs or we get close to setting off nukes, they come and try and stop it. That there's this theory about that because it
Yeah.
echoes through the multiverse and hurts where they are in their timeline. So what used to be in the unexplained of, hey, this just showed up here or multiverse or anything like that, even the Vatican's kind of putting that over now. And I think that goes hand in hand with what you're talking about here with The Exorcist, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And Player says he has his BS in fact checking, and I think we went to the same school.
Okay.
So
Yeah. I
did you
do.
guys see that one of the higher ups in Area 51 had his house raided by the FBI this past week?
I
Speaking
didn't
of
see that.
Yeah, speaking of unique and unusual news, yeah, he was not appreciative, but apparently he had his house raided by the FBI and they confiscated everything. And that one flew under the radar, I think. Pun intended.
Right. Yeah. Well, it makes you think during wartime, what is that guy or girl or have, of classified information to sell to China or Russia's secrets, or, they even tried to do the same thing with Bob
He's got the
Lazar
documents they were
trying to
looking for his Trump's documents.
Oh yeah, Bob Lazar does. Yeah, for sure. Along with along with element 115, right? That they were trying to find or whatever it is. So I mean, you work at Skunk Works, you get on a plane to fly to a secret air base in Nevada. Like some major shit's going on there and has been for a long, long time. But remember that everyone was going to storm Area 51. Remember when that was a little stupid flash mob thing that never really manifested? Like, yeah, run right in there and see if they don't open up the machine guns on you. See how well that works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if that would go over so good.
No.
So yeah, so that was just some minor interesting stuff I thought we'd mention. So I don't know if Eli is ready, but we'll tell you about him. So he is. I'll read his bio, unless you would like to do it. Ben, you have a bit more of a bio voice than I do.
Wrap up a little bit.
Okay.
Well, yeah, tonight's guest, you guys, is going to be author and ghostwriter extraordinaire Eli Gonzalez. He's a professional ghostwriter, one of the preeminent ones in the United States, and is a highly sought after speaker, I'm sure, probably for many writers groups and collegiate writers as well. He's been published in the International and founder of International Ghostwriters Academy. And everyone can get their negative ghostwriter. The pattern is full jokes in the chat right now. If you want to get those references in. But he's written more than 90 books, you guys, and many of which have reached legitimate bestseller list, and 2 of which are under consideration to become major motion pictures. He's also authored 6 books of his own. His latest book, Fierce Urgency of Now, debuted at number 3 on Amazon and is as a legitimate bestseller as any. As a publisher, he's helped more than 1,000 people achieve their dreams of authorship, and he has formerly headed up the English department for the Rhodes Academy of Creative Arts in Tampa, and has served as a board member for the Orange County Community College for many years. So obviously a very high level intellectual, secondary education teacher here. Also works in a mentorship program for University of South Florida for writers. And in 2019, he won the Hispanic Prestige Award for his leadership and service to the community. He beat me out for that award. Actually, I was up for that as well, and he won it that year. So, but if there's anybody I had to lose to, I was glad it was Eli Gonzalez. But he was named in 2020 one of the top 20 most influential Hispanics in the state of Florida by the Latin Times Media Group. And in 2021, Eli founded the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in Pinellas County, where he serves as chamber president. So very heavily invested, it sounds like, in his local community as well, and right now, I mean, I don't want to try and bait him when he gets here, but I just seen a story where Texas is using border crossing, Latinos as kind of like, I don't even want to call it a bomb, but it's like a culture bomb where they sent them, to New York City and they ate up all the resources there. They sent them to Martha's Vineyard. Well, they just dropped a bunch more off in Philly, and Philly is a state where downtown in a lot of areas, it is as bad as it's ever been, you know what I mean? With homeless and drug problem, people strung out on the streets. And now you're going to drop off 100 El Salvadorians or Mexicans or whoever is coming across, it's going to really do some interesting damage. And to those people, like, you're leaving one terrible situation possibly for another one and just being used as a pawn in the greater chess game of politics when it comes to immigration. They're really not thinking about people's lives or anything like that. And winter's here. It ain't like you're going to get off the bus from El Salvador and go, oh, what a beautiful summer it is in Philly. Like, these people might have nothing and no place, I don't like they play with people's lives like that.
Yeah, well, I'm not caught up on, honestly, I'm not caught up on much for politics, but perhaps he is on this, but I know he is my former FA, is my former boss. And, we were working on a couple of book projects together. So I'm sure he'll tell you a little bit about that as well. So yeah, it'll be nice to have him on. So
now, where he was your former boss in higher education when you worked there?
No, for writer. That's my day job. Yeah, my day job.
I wasn't sure you guys might have crossed paths, whether it was Full Sail and you were doing stuff there as well. So
no, this was before I went to Full Sail. I don't even remember exactly where I met him, but I was working on some ghostwriting projects with him. And then I realized that it wasn't really my style, but I admired how he was able to embrace it and get with people and make their stories come to life.
Right. I'm sure it's a discipline. I mean, the writing is get out there, do it, rewrite it after you think you get your idea, and then you rewrite after the rewrite, Yep. So if a scene's stuck, it's always nice to have an educated pair of eyes on it to say like, okay, I see what you're trying to do here, but maybe if we did this, and when it ends up being half short and twice as strong, right? Like cut and change this a little bit. So that's awesome. And 90 pieces out there. That's a pretty heavyweight professional career.
Mm-hmm. That is for sure.
So
hello. Hi, Disco. Hi, the artist. Hello.
Yeah. Politicians treat us all as pawns. Yeah, I mean, we made it through voter Tuesday, but has anything really changed whatsoever? They're just now going back and forth with DeSantis in Florida, trying to make that the little hot button thing. But the reality is we're still under. The reality is I paid $130 for $70 worth of groceries today.
I know.
That's the real talk. Like everyone can say blue, red, or whatever. When it comes to the green, there's less and less of it out there. So we appreciate all the biddies for titties. We know times are tight, and we keep it titty tight around here, you guys.
Yeah. Hi, Fury Power. Hey, one word, all caps. And hello, Chowny Man. And hi, Jamie. What's up? No, better late than never. Thanks for coming in, you guys. So I just double checked with Eli to see if he's good to come on. I don't know if he's hanging around or.
I don't see him backstage.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess he'll get here when he gets here, or if he doesn't, we'll have our own show. So.
That's okay.
But it was interesting this week with it being the election. And again, I think a lot of people are so extreme in their thinking. I'll preamble this. They're so extreme in their thinking that if you're not on board with one side or the other, they automatically assume that you're of the other side. And I've had people label me as conservative. I am not conservative. I've been a lifelong liberal, actually. And then I moved to the middle. But I basically think that
you didn't move to the middle. You didn't move to the middle.
No, I didn't move to the middle. The parties moved. They went extreme. Yeah.
You just went. Yeah. Like we're all still here. We're still centrists.
Yeah. So no, it's weird. Somebody actually called me an election denier too. I was like, wait a second. It was interesting that they are using this weaponized language to almost bully people into not questioning anything. So I was questioning. I'm like, wait, why did Philadelphia say they needed the Pennsylvania needed until the 17th to count their votes, but they immediately announced Fetterman, and then Arizona announced very early, like the same time Florida did, even though they're 3 hours behind us, right? Yeah. Why did they announce their winners when everybody knew they were having voting issues, and they refused to give an extension to the people who weren't able to get their ballots in? And it does seem like something's not right. It just seems like something's not right. And if you say that, you're an election denier.
Yeah, how dare you go against the grain?
You're a conspiracy theorist, or there's all these things. You're an anti whatever, or you're this or that. And it's like, stop with the weaponized language, because there's people like me, and there's more and more of us that don't give a shit what you guys think, You're not going to get us to stop talking. You're not going to get us to stop questioning things. You're not going to bully us into a corner and make us feel bad about questioning things.
Well, I would just come right back to him. I'm an election denier. You're an erection denier. That's what I would.
If I'm a conspiracy theorist, then you're a conspiracy compliant. Okay?
Yeah, you're a conspiracy cock blocker. That's what
you're a conspiracy compliant. Yeah.
Oh shit, man. They just want to write that off. I will go to bat though on the other side of the argument for this is just what I saw on voting day of like, I understand why things are far behind. If you would have saw Sharon, Karen, and Ethel, who are at youngest 84 years old, ranging to about 91, that's who was running the voting equipment. I was like, we'll be lucky if we got this bitch done by Valentine's Day with the way these old ladies are moving out here. We do not have our best and brightest social servants running these elections. We have your
but they're the ones that aren't working 3 times as hard for half the money.
they can barely get stuff done, and they must be whipping these old ladies all night long. Like, come on, Ethel, count them votes, and they just want to play Uno and watch Jeopardy and go to sleep. But that's who's running these elections locally, logistically. So I kind of just like, dude, they better double and triple check them shits, because a lot of these ladies don't even drive themselves to the grocery store no more. And they're the ones where, their husband's been dead for 15 years, most of them.
Yeah. Look at what Winona said. Put that one up on the screen. Doesn't matter which side is which anymore. If the people placed in charge choose not to change anything, then nothing will. All this blaming each other, both are at fault. Complacency when evil is being done is just as bad as when the ones are doing it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
and if you do it on the outside, they'll just crash your system. We've seen crypto in the last month go all the way down from like, what was Bitcoin at like 60 grand? It's about $15,000 now. Yeah, because they're coming out with EDNC.
No. Did you see? Well, that too, but did you see why? Because the one guy financed the campaign, the DNC campaign, and he used all the crypto for it and crashed everything for everybody.
Holy shit!
Look into that. Look into that. I'm blanking on his name, but one guy who was the son of somebody financed all the whole DNC campaign, like millions of dollars, and he did it all in crypto, and he crashed all of it, and everybody lost all that money because of that guy. They're just finding that out now.
Wow. And now I see that and I'm sure this is part of it, if it's financing the entire DNC, that they might have wanted to crash it on purpose, because here comes the Fed with their own cryptocurrency here pretty soon that they're going to roll out that you can try and invest in. So Sam Bankman, they're saying in the chat room, I'm not sure if that's who it was. I was going to go with Carl Crypto. That was my guess. I don't know if that's even a real person, but I'm gonna say that's the guy who started crypto. But yeah, man, it's insane though of what they're trying to play to get their own over. Because if you start out anything on your own outside of the rules,
Sam Bankman-Fried, crypto
Sam
kingpin, bet a fortune on Democrats. Now he's lost it all.
Well, there you go, pal. Thanks a lot, Hillary. Thanks, Obama.
So he lost. He's a crypto mega donor, and he helped bankroll the Democrats' overperformance in the midterms. But he also spent billions of dollars of his own personal wealth and nearly vanished in the span of 48 hours. After it emerged that the giant crypto exchange he founded was insolvent and unable to meet the customer withdrawals. That means everybody was affected. State and federal regulators are now investigating the exchange, FTX, to determine whether it may have harmed clients or broken other financial regulations. An emergency rescue from competing digital asset exchange, Binance, fell apart after the company dug into FTX's financials and investigators circled. So, yeah, he affected everybody.
That's hardcore. But was it because he really invested in it, or is that a red herring and they wanted to crash it on purpose? You know, so they can roll out their own shit. They really had to do damage.
Yeah, because Kanye enters his chat. I tried to tell you. I tried to tell you.
Tried to tell you, bro.
I always say, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean you're wrong.
That's right. That's right, dude. It's great. Well, I mean, for me, being minimally invested, but still taking a beating like everybody else, I'm mainly invested in AMP, which is a token that's for exchanging every digital transaction that's done with, like, shifts the money with it. But and so I like the product of it. But I had John McAfee, where we did on the Conspiracy Horseman 2 times, and his late wife a third time, or his his widow Janice McAfee a third time after he passed, allegedly. And I brought it up, is he still alive riding a donkey out in the middle of Mexico someplace and faked his own death, which would be very John McAfee to do because nobody's seen his body. Supposedly it's still in a jail in Spain and on ice. This is going on 2 years now with the tattoo and everything. I didn't kill myself pretty much, where we haven't seen the body. So is McAfee still around out there? And he was the number one crypto guy they were terrified of.
Wasn't he the one that was running as a libertarian?
Yeah,
I remember him. He was very eccentric. I was like, oh, he's weird. I kind of like him.
you should check out both the documentaries on Netflix. One, supposedly there's alleged that he in Belize he had his neighbor killed after his neighbor poisoned his dogs, had her murdered, and then he fled. And then while they were on the run to Dominican Republic, showed up with a bunch of guns and got caught there and brought back and escaped again after faking a heart attack and all this. Like, the guy is one of the best characters in the history of the planet.
I mean, it sounds like he knows how to get shit done, in my opinion.
and he loved the conspiracy. Well, McAfee antivirus, right? That's where he made his millions from.
Yeah.
So he's just a brilliant coder who can break into the blockchain anytime he wants and steal billions of dollars, I think. So it's very, very, very interesting to me how all that works together, man.
Big Ray is in the house. What's up, Big Ray?
Oh, Big Ray's. Yeah, shout out Big Raymond. Super excited for him
I'm looking
to join
forward
the
to our first. Yeah, I'm looking forward to our first show next week. So.
Yeah. But check out those shows are online if you want to see Conspiracy Horseman with John and Janice McAfee. Good stuff. I don't know. I want to believe that he's still alive just because I love it. I love it that way, that much more, and nobody's seen the body. And John would actually use his wife because he's that crazy of a dude to work us and let her emotions be real, thinking that we're dead while he goes and starts another life over again. And he likes to play the part. It's some very, remember Young Guns, how they said with Billy the Kid, how, the mythos of him keeps going, the Billy Bonnie. I think it's almost identical with John McAfee. And when it comes to crypto, when I see things take a big dive or big money getting pulled out, I always like to just imagine, like, way to go, John. You keep doing what you're doing, man, So until I see the body, I thought about that, like, who would fund a documentary film for us to go to Spain, to go to that prison to see the body? Otherwise, I'm not believing a goddamn thing until I see the tattoos match up. Conspiracy Horseman coming back. We are on Rumble. GGP and I, we just haven't done shows in a while. I've been so busy, you guys, but there's plenty to talk about always. And we'd love to have that'd be a great place. Actually, you want to talk about Conspiracy Horsewoman? This woman right here would be a great co-host to join us on the Conspiracy Horseman. I'm inspired. I'm going to grant that. And we are going to come up with a great show in GGP in April. And I'll do something very fun together in the future here.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah. Can you ask John to chill with the pop? John's no longer in control of McAfee. He's sold out. So I don't know, or maybe he's getting paid off every one of those. Who knows? So
I'm gonna give you guys a couple of life hacks just to see if if this will help you somewhere along life. Okay. So if you ever get buried alive, take your shirt off and tie it around your face and mouth to keep from suffocating. Because I'm sure that'll work.
Yeah,
Yep.
I could, like, what do you say, buried alive, like in an avalanche, you're fucked. You might be able to give yourself a hole a little bit to breathe through, but I think this is probably some like 9/11 type shit, right? Like
I don't
if you're
know. I'm
buried,
just saying.
or earthquake, you know what I mean? Just
The way
so
you and
you're,
I are on the internet, that could be like on purpose. Somebody just throws us in the dirt.
yeah.
I don't know. So here's one. Doritos make great kindling if you can't find any kindling. I'm
Oh,
assuming if you can't find kindling, but you have Doritos, there's something wrong with you. Then again, this is
I
America.
love,
This is
let me
America.
well, like, as an outdoorsman and woodsman, and we're in hunting season right now. A lot of guys do keep a little bag of Cheetos or Fritos. Doritos work just as good, but really Fritos are the best. And because of the amount of oil that's in them, you light them up,
Yeah.
and they're the best fire starter with just a lighter or anything like that. So if you're out there hiking in the woods and you're spending the night, or even if you're just camping, that's a quick way to get a fire going. With 2 Fritos, you can get a rip roaring blaze going quick.
That's good to know. All right.
Yeah.
Condoms actually are really great to carry water. And if you can string two of them up,
Yep.
you can have a shower.
Yeah.
So
And if you got them, you can also get laid in the woods. That's also a good thing as well.
there's that too. I'm going to assume if you're, well, never mind. Anyway, if your change is stuck in this vending machine, don't mess with it. Vending machines kill more people each year than sharks do. And on sharks, if a shark is following you, this is why you're not supposed to splash a lot. They will follow whatever splashes and runs from them. What you're supposed to
Mm.
do is you're supposed to turn around, face them head on, look them in the eye, and then push them down in the water by their head. So bull sharks and tiger sharks in particular will come after
That
you.
scares that
Yeah, I
scares
watched a
me. I'm
woman
probably
do it. She was just swimming along and this thing was coming after her. She just turned around, looked at it, and then pushed it down and went the other way, and he left her alone.
Well, speaking of sharks, we got one of the biggest sharks in the writing industry, in the publishing industry. It's the professor himself, Eli Gonzalez. Welcome to the A Show, buddy.
Eli Gonzalez!
What's up, April Ben? Thank you so much for having me.
Hey. Thank you for coming on. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
I'm doing fantastic. I'll never forget the day I met you, April. You walked into the writers critique group.
Oh, is that where it was? Oh,
maybe,
yeah.
maybe 6 years ago.
Okay.
And you read you read a piece that pretty much shook up the room.
Shocker. I'm trying to remember which one that was. And by the way, your speaker, I think, is giving a little bit of feedback.
Okay, let me see if this is better.
Is this better?
Huh?
Is this better?
That's way better. Yep. Is that?
Okay.
Can you hear us? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Oh, I know what that one was. That was pull my hair, right? Pull my.
That's the
hair.
one.
Oh my God! I thought I made somebody else read that.
People were looking at each other like, "What's going on here? The atmosphere just shifted. April Hunter took over."
Well, it's like I write about everything, so there you go. Yeah, that was actually one of my most popular little articles on Medium and everything else. So, so you have written a book now about a Holocaust survivor that is now being made into a movie.
Yeah.
And that you're keeping her story alive, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that. That's pretty amazing.
It's this book right here called Undaunted.
Okay.
And for those that are looking to be writers or ghostwriters, right? So when you find a project, you never want to work for less than your value, right? When I heard this lady's story, they didn't have enough to afford my rates, but I knew that it was an amazing story. So I lowered my rates, and I negotiated with them to give me book cover credit. So my name is on the cover of this book.
Right.
As told to Eli Gonzalez.
Right.
So yeah, this book is absolutely amazing. It's the Holocaust, right? It's the worst that people can do. But what happened to her? She did a treatment that they did for only 700 women, what a lot of people don't know about the war is that the Germans were taking the ovaries from the Jewish women, right? And at the same time, they were doing experiments on twins. And when one twin would die,
Mengele, Josef Mengele.
Yes, the angel of death, right? And so a lot of people knew about the twin stuff, but they didn't know about the ovary stuff. So they were taking their ovaries and experimenting. They were trying to crack the code so that anytime a German woman got pregnant, they could have twins, thus doubling the German race in a generation, right? It sounds like a sci-fi thing, but this is really happening. So she's one of those that it was happening to. So the story goes really quickly. The story goes, she's in the operating table, slit open, no anesthesia. If she died, they didn't care, right? They took out an ovary. She's over there crying. She's over there praying. A Nazi officer comes in, tells the doctor that there's a threat of an Allied raid nearby, so he had to go to the bunker. Now, assisting him was a Jewish doctor, very prominent before the war, Jewish guy. So the doctor told him, Dr. Clawberg tells the Jewish doctor, who was a prisoner too, shaved head, the whole nine, finish the procedure, and he goes down. And now it's her clinging to consciousness with this Jewish doctor, the Jewish nurse. And then he goes to take out her ovary. He says to the nurse, "I can't do it."
Yeah.
and she's like, "Well, you better do it. We can't defy the Jews, Germans. You better do it, or our lives are forfeit." He says, "I can't do it. My hands aren't moving. God has a plan for this child." And he ends up sewing her up, risked his life to make sure that she didn't die from gangrene and all that other stuff that killed a lot of the women that had that procedure. Long story short, she had a great, beautiful life, 4 boys, 13 grandkids, 4 great grandkids from the.
Did she have twins? Did she have twins?
No.
Oh, okay.
But from the one ovary. And her oldest son, the actual guy that hired me, ran the Pinellas Pregnancy Centers, and they've saved over 10,000 babies from being aborted and being born. So it's just an amazing story. And I was fortunate enough to tell that story. Now she's gone and her story lives on. It's the beauty of a book. And now hopefully it gets made into a movie and everybody will know how strong of a woman she was. And just, what's impressive is that after the war, she didn't cry about it. She didn't need years of therapy. She just picked up and said, "Wow, I'm alive," and just lived a great life.
I mean, and that, not to get too marketing with it, what an incredible story, but like with how hot button it's been with Kyrie Irving and Kanye West, the pendulum is going to swing back the other way to put spotlight on a story that's as twisted and, in the end, inspiring as anything else. So it's the right. I just saw a follow-up story, which is weird on all the Nazi and occult talk, is they put out new German uniforms, and they had size small and short, and so it said SS on the tag. They made them rip all the tags off and everything. So there's weird stuff still going on, man.
Yeah, it's crazy what's going on now.
Yeah, it is. That's interesting. I would love to read that book because I'm a World War II history fanatic, I guess. So, and the Mengele stuff was particularly interesting to me because of the crazy experiments that he did.
Yeah, and you know what? Mengele saved her life. She was like his assistant. Mengele says, and it's in the book, that she reminded him of his niece. So one time she mouthed off to a Nazi, and she was going to get her, at the very least, beaten down. But Mengele stepped in and actually saved her life, she says. Wow. She said the crazy thing is she says that Mengele was a great guy.
Really?
It's amazing in the context of how she saw him. She saw him as a father figure. He almost like protected her in there. Like she would vigorously defend him when I would talk to her. It was the craziest thing.
It's not like Stockholm Syndrome? Or...
Yeah, exactly. That's that classic.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm curious to read that now. It's almost like, if you're into psychology, that entire period is fascinating. Like, just Hitler himself is fascinating in that this was able to even happen.
Yeah.
And happen on such a grand scale. And so many people just went along with it. I mean, it's just, to me, that's just like, wow. Like, that's somebody to be studied so that it never happens again. You know?
Yeah. But you know what? You know what, though? It should be studied on how to speak from the freaking stage. I mean, talk about a master communicator. Like, holy crap.
I know we're not supposed to say this in public, but at the end of the day, I mean, yeah.
Well, he's one of the biggest figures in history.
Yeah, I know.
You know, because of the art of the spoken word.
Yeah.
You know, he was an incredibly effective, and nobody can deny that, you know, a speaker.
And what's weird is he was an artist, right? Now, if his parents had only encouraged his art a little more and hung up some more pictures on the icebox, things could have gone a whole lot differently.
Yeah.
So encourage your kids. Encourage your kids.
Yes, show them love. It doesn't have to be perfect. At least they're trying.
Hang those pictures up. Sorry, we're all about the dark humor. So,
well, if he did that without encouragement, imagine what he would have done with encouragement. My God.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. So 90 books now, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, you're staying busy.
Yeah.
So
91.
you said 91. So
yeah.
You said something that when you went into this, you said, you know, try to get you paid your worth. And this is something a lot of artists don't know, a lot of writers don't know. How do you recommend people go about that? And if they're not sure of it, how do you recommend maybe they are able to negotiate like you did?
Yeah, so, you know, the reason why I think that I've done as well as I have in ghostwriting is that is a lot of brilliant writers, and they're probably way better than me, but they're introverts. And they don't know the classic rule, man, you got to go scorched earth. I mean, people got to know you in order to hire you, in order to feel you're valuable. You know, so you got to, and it's, and some could say shamelessly, but you just got to continually promote yourself. Like, you know, one of the times that I raised my, I mean, there's so many ways I could answer that for writers, right? So for one, let me talk about authors, right? So your first book, especially if you get a self-published, you know, don't hang everything on that book. The most important thing on that book are reviews, right? So what one thing to do is you put your book, whatever it's worth, right? $15, $25, whatever it is, but you put your ebook down at 99 cents. And then you go to your friends and family and everybody you know, and you say, hey guys, for 2 weeks, my book's going to be at 99 cents. Right. And I'm doing this for you. Just thank you for supporting me all these years. You know, I want you to have this ebook, whatever. Right. So you do like a little pre-sale campaign. So when the book comes out, now all those on Amazon, now all those sales count for that day. And who knows, depending on the genre that you're in, your book can crack the top 50, top 20. And that's something that you can screenshot now and put on your website and everything. All of a sudden, boom, instant credibility.
Yeah.
But too many authors, guys, they want to get royalties too fast. The first thing you got to get is credibility, right? So and then you know they got to use a book like a lost leader, right? So I tell my clients, who can open doors for you? So most of my clients want to become speakers, right? So who can? So we create a champions list of people that they don't know, but of people that invite people to different stages, you know, whatever it is, and we send the book. Because if you can get on a stage, it's a lot easier to talk to, you know, sell from 1 to 400 than 1 to 1, or a Facebook ad, you know. So it all depends on what your goal is. That's my $1 million question. When people interview me to ghostwrite for them, I interview them as well. And because if it's not a fit, man, it's not a fit. The book's not going to come out good. The journey, work with me, is not going to be fun. They're going to talk junk about me after if they don't get what they wanted out of it, and then my reputation takes a hit. You know, because I got too greedy, I got too hungry, and I just jumped at something. You know, so I've and ever since I met you, April, even before then, I knew my niche. My niche is nonfiction. You know, I started with business books.
Mm-hmm.
Business books. Why business books? Because business books give you credibility.
I remember we were editing your business. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. Those are hard to write.
Yeah. You know what?
They're dry.
It's dry. It can be dry, you know, but ghostwriting is really an art form in the sense that I get paid to kind of retell something that was told to me, right? Because it's their content. It's not like I got to do all this research. They tell me exactly what they want. So then my job is really transitioning into the topic and then saying it, you know, just reading from the notes and just writing it better than they would. And really at the very core, like a stripped down element, that's almost what ghostwriting is. Like I've done 91 books, and I say all the time, I've never experienced writer's block. It's like the Loch Ness Monster and the Kukui for me, right? I heard about it, but I ain't never seen it, you know? And the reason why, as a ghostwriter, is because they're giving me the content. You know, so a lot of people confuse a writer's block with getting their creative juices flowing. Those are two different things. You know, I mean, when you sit down to write, one of the things I do for you guys as viewers out there, if you guys are writers, and if your mojo isn't there yet, it's not really writer's block. I mean, you got life happening, you got your bills, your kids, your pets, all this crap happening. You know, your creative brain just isn't awake yet. So what I do, I'll tell my daughter, give me 12 random names of things. You know, she'll say sunset, lollipop, whatever. She always says zombies because we're zombie enthusiasts in our house. Right? So it's always zombies. So then I'll take those 12 things now and I'll put it in a nice little story in 2 paragraphs, 500 words. Mm-hmm. But as I go and I tap into my creativity, I'm alive. My boom, there's no writer's block. Now I'm focused, not so much on what I'm about to write, but my creative energy has woken up and has taken over now. Now I can go ahead and write.
I was gonna say, how many zombie stories do you have, and do you have enough to publish your own book?
You know, I've got a lot of little snippets of zombies, but not. I don't know if I'll do a zombie story.
You should do a zombie story a day. Just do a daily. Here's your daily zombie story and publish that. 365 zombie stories for you.
Not a bad idea, though. That's a huge market.
Yeah. Vampires and zombies, man. Dragons, too.
Yeah, I love dragons.
More dragons.
And what a lot of people don't realize about books is that, like, they can become subject matter experts and they don't get it. Like, if I was to do that, April, right? If I was to write all these little blogs, all just zombies, mm-hmm. Who knows? Next time Netflix does a series or something, they could call me in as an expert. Books make you an expert. The written word makes you an expert.
Yeah, it gives you immediate credibility.
Yeah.
Just putting author and having a book behind you, you've accomplished.
Could I ask you how the process of getting something from book or screenplay to a Netflix or to get it in front of somebody the next, it's because of that credibility and that opens the doors for you that way? Or is it a writing agent that pitches your stuff? You know,
I'm sure there's a lot of different ways that people have, you know, gotten onto the screen or Netflix or something. You know, for me, it worked out like it's all about who you know.
Sure.
Right. So there's a guy here locally. His name is David Yates. And they did the the Dolphin Town movies about him.
Oh yeah, that was filmed in my neighborhood actually.
Yeah.
They used one of the houses around here because it was you know like regular looking house.
Yeah. So who was it? Harry Connick Jr. played him in the movie.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? Morgan Freeman's in that movie. All these.
Yeah.
So he does a book. So he asked me to edit it. Not really to edit it. he thought it was pretty dry, so he wanted me to add more drama to it, more of emotional pull with it.
More wasabi.
Yeah, I couldn't put any zombies with that dolphin, but anyway, so this book came out, and he reached out to the family, and he said, "Wow, you know." So it was all about who you know. Like he knew that I wrote it, and then he read it, and then he loved it. Then he reached out to the family, then they reached out to me. So the way the process goes, though, there's several processes. Obviously, a book manuscript is not a screenplay for a movie or script, right? So the first process, you know, there's several meetings. You got to have some money behind you. We were fortunate to get $3 million coming from Germany, from all places, about this Holocaust book from Germany. $3 million backing it up. But that's not enough. That doesn't mean you're ready to do a movie. So then you got to write what's called a treatment. A treatment is like, it's boiled down, you know, it's like 10 to 15 pages, and it highlights. And then, you know, the first page is this is what the movie's about. This is why we think it's marketable. These are the main characters. And then you got to write the next 11, 12 pages on the character. And basically, the way I was taught, the way I did it, and I've written 2 of them, and they've both been greenlit to the next level, is they're ordinary Joe. They lost something, they learned something, they became great. And this is what they learned after. That's like the 5 points on writing a treatment. So that's kind of the deal. You know?
That's great information. I love that for 2 ideas that I've been sitting on for the last 5 years, developing it, and that on how to look at the treatment. That was great soundbite and information right there. I appreciate that.
I had to go to almost 4 years of college to learn that. There's an ordinary person. He's presented with a situation. If he goes on that situation, it's going to change his life forever. Then the story starts.
Yeah.
And I've learned so much these last 4 years in terms of movie making and how they make it. And now it's in my process and how I write books. I got a 7-step story arc process. You know, whenever you're thinking of movies, and this is coming right from. I was fortunate enough to be in some big meetings during the pandemic and COVID, but like big Hollywood hotshots. And it's so funny that the first 15 minutes of a movie are almost like a throwaway. You know, they just set the tone. If it's romantic comedy, you know, you see the girl, you know, she loves her cat, she loves coffee, she's quirky, whatever. The first like 10 minutes, they know that people are still coming into the theater. Everybody's still, you know, not really settled in yet. People are still munching hard. After 10 or 15 minutes, that's when the theater really the people in the theater start to absorb the movie. So the movies actually really start 12 minutes in. And in 12 minutes, Stephen King would call it Steven Spielberg would call it an inciting incident.
Yep.
Right. So 12, 15 minutes in, something happens that now that you're settled down, you know that you're going to get what you paid for.
Right. And that's on page 10 or 12 in the script.
Yeah. In a script, it's probably page 20. In the treatment, is probably the bottom of page 1. Right. So, you know, scripts, there's barely nothing on these scripts. These scripts are freaking hundreds of pages long because it's all dialogue and stuff. But like 15 minutes into the movie, in a romantic comedy, we'll meet the person she's going to fall in love with. Maybe they're rivals for position. You know, the Harry Potter movies, the first 15 minutes, he's under the stairs, he's being mistreated. You know, then Hagrid comes, boom, that movie starts. And every movie has it. But at that you know, if you go to see a movie about, you know, a thriller or something, 15, 20 minutes in, they steal Neil Leeson's daughter. You know, he says, "I will find you and I will kill you." And now that you're settled in, now they tell the audience you're going to get what you paid for. So it's some
It's,
interesting.
would you say that Hollywood did that based on metric marketing and understanding it? Sorry about this, whatever this feedback is. Like that, because we were talking about this earlier in pro wrestling being a formless form. The heel usually comes out first. That's your inciting incident. Get heat. Then you can send out your baby face, your good guy, because you can't just send out a good guy and go, I'm a good guy, and everyone cheers for him. The inciting incident is the heel, right? And so we're waiting now 12 minutes to get to that point based on popcorn metrics. So we've shifted the quality of writing instead of introducing John Travolta and Swordfish right away, as the bad guy. Like we wait and do it's a sunny day in LA and everything's fine and everything's normal until everybody sits down. Then the movie kind of starts now.
Yep. That's exactly it. But now Netflix is changing the game. Netflix is changing the game. In a movie, you had 2, maybe 3 hours. Now people that are trying to get movies, they end up getting Netflix series deals instead. And that's a whole nother monster. But that's an avenue that we went after for the other book that's being turned into a movie. The guy's name is he's a pilot. His name is Will Smith. That almost got picked up by not Netflix, but by Amazon, by Prime, into a series. But they would have changed it too much. So at the end of the day, he said no.
Paramount just had 12.1 million viewers for Yellowstone. And you figure probably another 8 million people like me that pirated it. And that's not even a top 3 streaming service.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I stick to I stay in my lane. When once in this movie thing, things go far enough. Right now, I'm like a silent like editor. So now for both these projects, now we got professional Hollywood screenwriters. But I'll tell you, some of them, I don't know, and they're not that good. Like I look at these
as soon as you went, like I knew you were going. No, you know what it is? It's just that you've worked so long out here. You've gotten better than you realize. The same thing happened to me. It's like, and then you go up against the pros and you're like, oh, either they're not that good or I'm a lot better than I thought.
Yeah.
What does make someone good or not good? Is it understanding format, understanding writing subtext and around a scene, or flushing out? I go to Jizzler from Wu-Tang Clan, make it half short and twice strong.
Yeah, for me, it's can you elicit emotion? As a writer, right? And that's why I still go to writer critique groups. Some people are like, Eli, but like you're like a professional writer. Like, why do you go there? There are all these quote unquote amateurs. I'm like, who do you think reads my stuff? And if I can't be clear to them, if I can't make them chuckle when I want them to, then I'm not doing as well.
Winona's asking, and I think you're right. I think we keep learning. That was one of the things with Killer Kowalski's wrestling school is he wanted people to come back, even though they were working shows, come back, keep learning and keep training.
Yeah, and I would think with wrestling, I mean, you guys are storytelling, and if the viewers aren't connecting with the emotion, they're not going to come back.
And that's the same thing with your writing. So, and what you were trying to say is, how good you are if people care, literally if they give a shit about your characters, if they care what's going to happen, if they want to turn the page, like what's going to happen next.
Yeah. And let me give any writers here some tips on how to help your readers get the emotion you want, if I may. Just writing your dog died ain't gonna make somebody cry. They could be the biggest dog lover in the world, but if you read my dog died, I cried, blah, blah. So here's one of my secrets. Here's one of my secrets. People got to buy my course for this secret. What I do is I take the emotion I want them to feel. Let's say it's motivation. What I do is I get all the synonyms of the words motivation and all the phrases, And then just like I do with the 12 words that I pepper into those 2 paragraphs to get myself going, I will extend the scene, if you will, so that I could add those words. So if I want them to cry, I never knew the heart could experience such sorrow. I'll use the word sorrow. Could barely breathe. All these things. You have to find a way to. If a person reads an emotion just once, they're not going to feel it. But if they read it 8 times and said differently, and they give a shit about the character, now you got a strong chance of making them feel something. So what I tell my students when you're writing, if you want them to listen to a emotion, sit on it. Don't rush that. Don't rush it. At the end of the day, that's the only thing they're going to remember about your book, how you made them feel, if you made them feel anything. So sit on that emotion and, almost ad nauseum. Don't overdo it. But if you're going to write 1 or 2 sentences, you can write 2 paragraphs.
I like that. That's really useful. Thank you. So Winona asks, how do you feel about directors putting their own interpretation creatively on a book turned movie? And do you feel like they go too far and change too much? And I'm going to add to that. When do you say, no, you can't have it? Like one is like, okay, you can have it. And then one is like, you're going to ruin this.
Yeah. I mean, I'm starting to see this now. I'm getting into this world now. And I hate when directors do that. Like right now we're getting 10 pages back all the time for the Falling from the Sky book I did. And they're changing so much. And I actually called Will. And I said, Will, this is starting not to even look like your story anymore, bro. I know you really want this to be a movie. And I'm sorry, but I've been wanting to tell you this for like a month now. But I'd be so mad at myself if. And he wrote me back, Eli, thanks for being a real good friend. And we got a different writer. The director will only do well. At the end of the day, it starts with rights. If you self-published, you have the rights. Even though if you self-publish, you better copyright it, because people can then take like a likeness of it and just steal it, right? So if you're gonna write a fictional book, copyright it. So in the event that it does great, it's yours. Now you can dictate, but the only leverage you have is until you sign something. Once you've signed something, you can say, I want this director fired. I want this. You're done. So a lot of people, I think, who had books that got turned into movies that later that they rejected or they lamented, maybe their heads were in the clouds and they were just, oh my God, it's going to be a movie, and they really didn't do any inner work and introspectives and think, wow, they're totally ruining my character. This character was in my heart for 20 years, and I finally got him the way I wanted to when she killed him. That's not him. But I personally hate it. But you only have power to really answer the question. You really only have power in the negotiation process. Once you sign something,
you're done.
You're done.
Yeah, I think Steven, the horror writer, I'm blanking out. Stephen King said that about, and again, my brain, I'm tired right now, but the Red Rum. What is that movie?
Jerry?
Huh?
No,
all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Yeah, that's not
The Shining. Yeah,
Shining.
He said he hated The Shining, hated it, and it's like it became such a popular movie. So sometimes there's also, thanks you guys in the chat. Not enough sleep. So sometimes, even though there's like this fine line between we're not happy with the story, they're destroying it, or they're changing it into something that the people will love, but it doesn't necessarily it doesn't resemble what it is that we wrote and where we want the characters to be. So there's that too. It's like, should I just shut up and take the money?
Yeah. But also if your book does get turned into a movie, you got to understand that they are going to change some of it, right? You got to understand that they are experts at what they know, while you have all these pages to create your character. Books are different, right? So in books, if you write, to first person, then the reader knows your thoughts, right? If you write in the omniscient style, which is kind of like the God complex style, then the reader can know everybody's thoughts. But movies are visual, so there has to be a great confidence in handing it over, and you got to understand. To me, only one movie director really did the book justice from books that I've read, and that's the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I thought I read those books when I was younger, and I read them when I was older, and then once they became movies, I read them again. I thought Peter Jackson did a masterful job, turning it. But other than that, I think every book that I've seen that's become a movie, I've been disappointed.
Handmaid's Tale. The Handmaid's Tale is actually better as a TV series than it is with the book, but the author is on there working with them hand in hand. So, but yeah, I agree with you. Just gonna throw that in, but that's really, really interesting. Oh my gosh, I didn't know you had a course too. So, like, if somebody wanted to hire you as a ghostwriter or take your course, how would they do that?
Okay, so I have a course, the 6-Figure Ghostwriter. And I'm just going to talk. Sometimes, people think I'm conceited or whatever, but I'm just going to say what it is. I've never done the starving artist bit. Ever since I started ghostwriting, I made 6 figures. And I've been doing that for 10 years now. So I wrote a course on how to become a 6-figure ghostwriter. And we have a seminar coming up December 5th. We have a seminar coming up, and basically I'm going to teach for 2 days on how to become a ghostwriter. And see, the thing is, it's not just writing. It's the negotiation piece that I was talking about. It's the marketing piece, right? It's how to start. How we start off the course with how to start your business. How do you pay your taxes? Like all that stuff. So this course isn't just ghostwriting techniques. Yeah, I get really deep into different processes I have. Like I've got a 4-step process on how to write an introduction. I've got all these steps. But to have a successful business as an entrepreneur, you need a wide array of skills that can be learned, that I have in this course. So this course is pretty unique in that it's a pass or fail course. So I founded the International Ghostwriters Association. And so this course is robust. It's 14 weeks. It's done at your own pace, but if done the way I designed it, it would take 14 weeks. But this course, after every module, there's a homework. And then you submit the homework into us, because we got to know that you understood it based on our rubric, how we teach it. Because at the end of the day, should you pass it, you get accredited, or I'm sorry, certification from the International Ghostwriters Association that you completed this course. And by the way, there's no one else, there's no course you can take to become a ghostwriter. So now if you live in Denver, and there might be 10 ghostwriters there might be 5, but now you're the only one with a certificate of the only school of ghostwriting, that in and of itself gives you the gravitas, right? The credibility to start your own business, to say, hey, I'm a ghostwriter. And then if they compare you to somebody else, most often that other person, somebody that wrote a book, it probably didn't do very well, and now they're trying to write books for other people. So anyway, that's a little bit more about the course, what it entails. It entails all my writing secrets, man. I give away the farm on that in that course. I give away the farm. The course is $9,000, and I have a lending option. Right, so based on your credit, if you got over a 600 score, you can get lended the financed, and probably only pay a few $100s by the time you finish the course and get your first gig. And then I teach in the course how to charge for your book, how to charge for your services.
Okay.
So you know, and I'm April, since I've known you for a long time, I have a small crush on you, but I'm married. I'm happily married. But I'm gonna give away a little bit more than I normally would.
Thank you.
So what trips a lot of people up trying to hire ghostwriters is not so much the price.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, I don't sell my ghostwriting service. This is why I charge now. I start at $20,000 to write a book. Mm-hmm. I started doing it for free, then 1,000, then 5,000. Now I'm up to 20. So I ask people, 2 years from now, this book is wildly successful. What did it do for you? I want to be a speaker. I want to do this. I want to have a coaching this. I want this. And then that's usually when I slip the conversation into the pricing. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they're looking at me like, what are my fingers worth typing? No. You're not getting a book from me. You're getting the best chance to get you your dream life. That's worth $20,000. That's worth $25,000. Now you have an expert who's done it before that has gotten people to where you want to get to. See, that's what I sell. The product.
You sell the lifestyle, not just the book.
Yeah, the lifestyle. Yeah,
you sell the open gate. You open the gate.
The lifestyle you want goes through this book.
Okay.
And I can create this book to unlock the lifestyle you want.
I like that.
Well, your business writing acumen had to help with all that, you know, to say, here's how the hustle works and here's what you need to do is I want to write and be creative, everybody. There's a lot more sales that goes into it.
Yeah, if you want to make money, man, I mean, other you know, if you want to be a ghostwriter, if you want to be a successful ghostwriter, you got to get out there. You know, mm-hmm. and one thing I did early on is I started going to networking groups. And
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. And like people were like poking me, like, oh my God, you're a ghostwriter? I never met one before. And they were like you guys are real? And like, you know, and I'm probably like April sometimes when she goes out. Sometimes I go to these networking groups and I was the prettiest girl in the ball. Everybody wanted to dance. I'm the only ghostwriter they ever met. And they were intrigued. Their mother, them, somebody wants to do a book.
Everybody has a story that they want to tell. I always, you know, you probably have heard some of the greatest stories ever. Mm-hmm. So I remember that one we were working on with the woman whose brother was shot by the police. And she was convinced that he was turned bipolar by the police beatings. Do you remember that one at all?
No.
Yeah, it was a very interesting story. We were meeting them at Panera and getting their story, and
yes. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was a couple, and he had some mental health issues, and I remember, you know, talking to her and saying, okay, who else in your family might also have bipolar disorder? And they're like, nobody. Everybody in our family is perfectly normal. The police gave them bipolar disorder. I'm like, I'm not sure it works that way. Okay, it's your book.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I've heard a lot of stories, and sometimes I wonder how much truth is in them.
Yeah, I got stuck there. I was like, I'm getting stuck between publishing false information.
Yeah, yeah. If you're going to be a ghostwriter, right? If you're thinking of being a ghostwriter, my contract is the contract. Then there's an appendix. There's like the next page, and basically it states that what they're telling me, they take 100% responsibility, and if they get sued or anything happens, this isn't me. This is you. You know, so. Yep. I learned that 3 years in the hard way. When somebody wants to slander or was bringing somebody up, trying to bring somebody to court, they never did it, but they threatened. And then word came to me that I was going to be in that charge for slander for a book that I wrote for somebody. But yeah.
That right there is actually good advice for somebody too.
Yeah, you got to protect yourself.
Yeah.
If you're going to write something for somebody, make sure that they've written down, you know, some kind of a waiver. that this is on them, not on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
How much does it cost to get you to hire you to write my Twitter?
Do you want it to be funny or do you want it to be inspiring?
I stay in my lane, bro. I don't do comic books, which I saw somebody comment here.
Somebody did ask that. Yeah.
But there are ghostwriters for comic books, man. Do a search, you'll find them.
Oh wow, really? Like graphic novels and comic books? That's fantastic.
Yeah. I've met a few in my travels. I don't know them now, but I've met a few. But yeah, I stay in my lane. I do nonfiction books. And for the simple, humble reason that I want to freaking dominate it. That's all.
I love it. Okay, so what's your information that people can look you up? Because I know we are getting at the hour and 30-minute mark. So, but let's send them to you if they want to look you up and stay in touch with you.
All right, thank you for this. I'm having a blast, by the way, guys. Thank you so much. Well, one of my websites is godfatherofghostwriting.com.
I love it. Godfatherofghostwriting.com. I love it.
I'm the Godfather. I've helped a lot of people now, make a living as a ghostwriter. At first, I didn't mean to, they kind of, I needed some help. Like, April, I thought you would have been a great ghostwriter.
I know, you were helping me. I appreciate it.
I still do. You're very creative.
Thanks. Thank you. I think it's just bad timing for me. And I think I also wanted to tell like other stories than just somebody else's, but I could probably maybe do it now. But back then there was so much going on at that particular point. My mom and grandmother had just, I think at that point had died or were dying. So I think you probably remember all that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, godfatherofghostwriting.com. Yeah, you can send me an email from right there. That's probably the easiest way. On Instagram, I'm Eli the Ghost 1. Eli the Ghost and then the number 1.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on here. I feel like I learned a lot of stuff tonight and actually want to read that book. So that's a different viewpoint on things as far as I've never heard that type of a story come out of World War II. So I would love to hear that first person account there.
Yeah, and she was also used as a spy when she was like in her early years.
Oh, really?
In Venezuela, yeah. Like the story's insane.
Wow.
Her life is insane.
Definitely.
But let me end by saying this, guys. So I don't know, April, if you saw my Facebook today. I have a client who's dying of ovarian cancer, and I don't mean to leave you guys with a downer. But if anybody's listening here and wants to become a writer and you're kind of struggling, seriously consider becoming a ghostwriter. The money's fantastic. The awards I've been getting, like that award there, I've been getting awards and recognized. That's cool. But it's writing for somebody that's paraplegic, that warms the soul. So this lady that I'm writing for, she's got ovarian cancer. They just told her yesterday that she's probably got 3 days to live.
Oh.
There's a blockage somewhere and they can't find it. And if they don't find it, she's probably not going to last 3 days. So she called me crying. Not that she was going to die, because she's already kind of made her peace with that, but that her book wouldn't be done. I spent most of the day today, and I'll spend most of the day tomorrow. God willing, she's here the next day. There at the hospital with her. I've cleared my schedule to take down all her information while she's still here.
Oh my gosh, that's why you didn't get the bio to me. I'm sorry, I didn't realize so much was going on. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's. And we're friends on Facebook, April. You can see the picture there.
I will. I a lot of times people are out of, I don't know, the algorithm, so I'm not I'm not getting them in my feed. So I didn't know that was going on. So wow, that's amazing that you're doing that. I hope they find that blockage and clear it for her.
Yeah. But that's another thing that a lot of people don't think about if they consider ghostwriting. Is that honestly, this could come across cheesy, but you'll never know the impact you had your life has had on people. You know, you'll never know people that read your books and how it helped them, whether it's a book to save a marriage or whether it's a book to, you know, whatever. You know, the business books, the things I've taught in books that now other people started businesses and now became very successful. You know, like I'll never know how many people I've impacted, but I know that my time on earth was useful. You know, and that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Leaving the world
You
a
taught a
better
great
place.
lesson.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You guys, godfatherghostwriting.com. Invest in yourself. If you're a creative and you want to take your art and make some money out of it, this is the guy to be your new sensei. Bow down and we were thank
Awesome.
you for all these great lessons.
Thank you. Well, we do this thing when we leave. We call it twitching on Twitch. We do a pec flex on the way out. You want to pec flex with us?
Yeah, man. What do I do? Tell me.
All right, you just pec flex. That's it.
Oh, wait. I used to be able to do that a while ago.
Oh, really? All right, everybody. We're doing it. Are you doing it?
You got it.
I'm not doing it as good as you, April.
It's because you can see mine. It's easy to see it.
You guys are awesome.
Ben, you're doing good tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm leaving after this show, you guys, but
I know
what a great master class tonight here on the A Show with Eli Gonzalez, a great writing professor, you know, a great guy in his community, award-winning ghostwriter and author, and we wish you all the best success on every future project that you have coming up. That one just is more successful than the last. And
yes.
and tomorrow our thoughts are with you in such that a noble endeavor that you're undertaking tomorrow and the next day, and we hope for the best.
Definitely.
To it.
Definitely.
You know, that's something very special that you're doing there. Appreciate that.
Thank you so much for the time. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Just let me know when I can come again, and I'll have some more stories for you guys.
That would be fabulous, and thank you for making the time to come on here.
My pleasure.
Well, thanks you guys for all coming in tonight. We appreciate it. As you know, the show is shifting to Wednesday afternoon, 4:30 to 6 next week. And I'll have a new producer and a new / co-host. We'll have Big Ray Hernandez with me. So Ben, you have been amazing to step in between Colin and Ray. I appreciate it so much. Mwah. Thank you so much. So I appreciate it.
I love being on the A Show, even though I'm a B-lister, you guys. And you'll have plenty of fun with Big Ray. Make him sing for you. He's got that chocolate rain voice, you guys. And subscribe to everything April's got going on, especially with her newsletter returning. I'm sure she's inspired after tonight to write more for you guys.
I know, I am actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And
now I want to get down and do the 12 things and write. Thank you, Eli, for that.
Yeah.
So you guys have it doesn't sound the same as see you next Tuesday, see you next Wednesday. I got to come up with it. Got to come up with something better. But you guys have a great night and see you in a week. So lots of love.
Take care. Thank you. Thanks again, guys.